Authorities from the Grenoble University Hospital in France have just issued a fresh medical bulletin where they say that Michael Schumacher continues to remain critical. Remember, Schumacher went into a coma after a neurosurgery post his accident while skiing in the French Alps. We have Anand Narasimhan now joining us for more on this. So distressing news really, Anand, no improvement in his condition.
Yes, it is distressing because the doctors have said that as of now they are unable to express themselves in regards to Michael Schumacher. They are saying that he's in an artificially induced coma, but that they performed the operation the moment after the first scan. Steve Slater, Formula One expert and commentator, with us on the phone. Steve, the news very grim as far as Michael Schumacher's condition is concerned.
Well, that's correct. It is a very, very sad situation, and Michael really taking a Christmas break, which has come very close to tragedy. And as you've just reported, the press conference has just finished in Grenoble in France. Two or three things that are really, I hope, will work in Michael's favour. The first is that he is still relatively young, 44 years of age, and is still in a very, very fit, healthy condition. He still was working out very hard and remaining in a high level of fitness, and that hopefully will work towards him. The other thing is that he received medical attention incredibly quickly. He was apparently treated within 6 minutes of the skiing accident and transferred, first of all, to the local hospital and then to the specialist neurosurgery unit in Grenoble, which is one of the best in France. Equally, though, it has to be said, the neurosurgeons there, Professor Payan in particular, said in very simple terms, he's fighting for his life. We're working hour by hour.
Well, Steve, they're also saying that the doctors are saying that it is, had he not had the helmet, the impact was so violent that he wouldn't have been there. And they're also hoping that because he's a sportsman, his recovery will be faster and he should be able to pull through.
Well, that has always been the case with people of that high level of fitness. They can make remarkable recoveries. What they're doing at the moment, I understand, is that they're keeping him in a controlled coma to avoid the brain having to activate. And the more they can do that, the more they can prevent inflammation of the brain. The brain is a muscle, and just like any muscle, if you tear it, you try and keep it stationary. And that is why they're keeping him in this, what they call an induced coma. That is a standard surgical procedure, I understand. Yes, we all just have very, very high hopes for Michael, and also thoughts for his wife Corinna and for Gina Marie, his daughter, who has her 17th birthday next month, and Nick, his 14-year-old son, who was actually skiing with him at the time of the accident.
Yes, and it is the doctor's not very forthcoming there as far as how much of a timeline that they are working on, isn't it? They're just saying that we'll go by it hour by hour. Now, is that positive or is that a grim news, Steve?
Well, obviously, we would have liked to have had more positive news, but the facts are the facts. And I think to the credit of Professor Chabad and Professor Payan, the two neurosurgeons who are leading the surgery, they are not being drawn into speculation. They are concentrating on the most important job at the moment, which is keeping Michael Schumacher alive and hopefully ensuring a full recovery.
Well, what is the fraternity saying, Steve? We are seeing plenty of tweets and updates that have come in. The likes of Jensen Button, Paul Di Resta, a lot of the people from the Formula One circuit have been hoping and praying for his recovery, isn't it?
Correct, and certainly I don't think there is anybody in the world of Formula One will be doing anything other than that. And thoughts are again with Michael's family as well, who are by his bedside. It is a close-knit family, and it is all the more ironic and tragic after being at the very top and being the most successful Formula One driver in the sport's history that Michael has an accident like this in retirement. But it's got to be said, he's never been the sort of guy to sit beside the fire in an armchair. Michael has spent a lot of his time riding horses over jumps. He's been skiing. He has been free-fall parachuting. You name it, Michael has been trying it. You know, when he last retired after his career at Ferrari in 2006, he went Grand Prix motorcycle racing. You know, this is a man who wants to live life absolutely, at his pace. And you can be absolutely sure he was not skiing slowly on a nursery slope. He was skiing off-piste in quite demanding conditions and you can bet he was skiing fast.
And not just that, Michael Schumacher might have retired from the sport, but he still continues to remain an icon, isn't it? And it will be a huge impact the world of motorsports will play. The irony is that it's not on the racetracks, but on the skiing slopes of the French Alps that he's had this severe accident.
Well, that's correct, and we shouldn't talk in the past tense about Michael. Michael is still very much with us, and we're hoping that his huge level of personal fitness will contribute to the full recovery. But the fact is, he is still the benchmark by which every Formula One driver will judge themselves from now and into the future. Even Sebastian Vettel, his target this year was to do the 13 wins in a season, which Michael Schumacher did in 2004, and Vettel achieved that. But Michael's still in history with 7 World Championships. He has the most World Championships. He has the most Grand Prix victories with 91 victories. He has the most fastest laps, the most pole positions in Formula One. As a driver, I don't think anyone's going to come close ever to matching some of the records that he set and the pace at which he set them. I mean, almost 1 in 5 of every, in fact, more than 1 in 5 of every Grand Prix he started, he won.
Yes, and he did. And the fact is, Steve Slater, that people might call Sebastian Vettel boring and boo him, but they never booed Michael Schumacher because he always made watching Formula One so interesting. Steve Slater, thank you so much for talking to us. We're also joined live by Mr. Chandok joining us at this point in time. This is shocking news, isn't it? A Christmas break, skiing down the French Alps, and this horrific accident, and everybody is praying that Michael Schumacher recovers from this.
Certainly. I mean, it is probably the most shocking news that we've ever heard since the passing away of Ayrton Senna. And I think at this point of time that all we can say is that he's had 1 surgery to relieve the pressure. He remains in a very critical condition. He's had an impact on the right-hand side of his head. The doctors say that he is now, they've declared that he's seriously fighting for his life. So I think it's, not a good day in motorsport.